We are growing constantly every day, and we welcome everyone who's joining online from anywhere around the world. So glad to have so many people participating today. We have a very special guest, and yeah, please do use the chat, the Zoom link chat, to post any questions. If you're a beginner, it's your first time getting into crypto, we welcome all new beginners asking any sorts of questions. We want to make this a positive and creative space. So please do share as much about yourself and just let us know where you're tuning in from.
So I think the other thing too, is we're in streaming live right now on YouTube. So please feel free to follow us on YouTube as well. Our YouTube handle is youtube.com/c/BitcoinBay. Join us there, follow us. We give a lot of tutorials, and we also stream all of our meetups live here. So just letting everybody know who's in our meetup today that everything is live on YouTube. So, if you would like to change your username or maybe want to turn off your video or anything along those lines, just letting you know right now. So thank you for coming out, everyone, and have a great meetup.
And just to let everybody know, questions can be coming in from YouTube. I guess Mike will be having a look at that. Any questions in the chat we will use to pose questions, whether you're in the space and talking about what we do always start with our community announcements, which are very important and crucial. So if you're a person in the space working on an interesting project, or you just want to let people know what you're up to, or you just want to say, hey, how's it going? Like you're new, feel free to raise your hand or type your question in the chat, and we will find out, we will ask the question and we'll get people to answer it.
Are people able to speak?
Yeah, sure. You just did. So do you want to say something?
Well, we have to manage how people are speaking, right? So what's going to happen is that the community announcements, they'll put their hands up and they'll say what they have to say. We'll unmute them and then they will be muted back again. Again, we want to manage the interruption that happens frequently.
So yeah, so like Leo mentioned before, if you do have something to say, like as a voice, please do raise your hand. We will pick you and then you can say your announcement.
Okay, well, we want to give it another minute or two before we start this.
Yeah, I mean, community announcements, we usually go till 6:10. I think people are still joining in, and then I'll give the presentation about Bitcoin Bay, and then we will do a transition into the Fireside chat.
Okay, cool.
If you have anything to say in the chat, you can say it in the chat too.
Yep, we already mentioned that before.
I think somebody was asking in the question in the chat, what is DOT used for? I bought some, and I'm assuming DOT from Polkadot. And it's the same thing as what is Ethereum, was ETH used for, and Ethereum. Again, to do a transaction, do something on the Polkadot blockchain, you would basically need some form of token in order to have your contracts or your transactions be executed. So that's just the high level of it. But if you really want to get into DOT or Polkadot, we have people in the community that we can connect you with, and they can help you deep dive more into Polkadot and whatnot.
We have another one, a proof of stake blockchain, which is trying to solve the Ethereum scaling solution.
So the question is what is proof of stake good or proof of stake bad?
I think maybe what they're trying to say, is there another type of, like, what kind of, I don't know how you would take that.
I mean, for a consensus mechanism, there's there's proof of stake, there's proof of work, there's hybrid of proof of stake, proof of work, there's other consensus mechanisms in the blockchain space that people are exploring. To me, right now, the best and the most proven one are the proof of stake consensus ones, which are Bitcoin or anything that is Bitcoin-esque. Even in real life, I was having a discussion with our interns today, and we were talking about proof of work and proof of stake. Really, when you think about it, and most of them are students, I highlight the fact that they go to school and they work, they learn everything, and how do they prove their work? They do an exam. And that exam, if they pass, that is their proof of work that they were able to understand what they were doing, where they put the time in to actually learn, study, and then come out with something that they actually understood. Now, if they don't study and they do it and they fail, that's a reflection of their proof of work as well. So, and again, the reason the conversation came about was we were talking about the energy use or the resource usage of proof of work. And my highlight on that was that really in life, when we do a lot of things, as we do with proof of work, as we do things, we expend a lot more resources than it's worth to get the result that we need. It just happens that right now, everybody's looking at the task that Bitcoin or any proof of work blockchain is doing and saying that this is a waste of electricity or a waste of energy or waste of resources, because they are trying to pick something that that they can point a finger at. Proof of work, again, also requires some sense of proof of stake, because I have to work to make the money to actually stake within the within whatever protocol it is. So I'm staking it. I'm still, that stake in itself is also a result of some resources that I use to get that token in order to be able to stake it, right? So it's there's no pros or cons situation when it comes to proof of work or proof of stake. But from my understanding or my interpretation is that the human process or human being process is best suited right now as it stands for proof of work. Everything we do is basically based on proof of work.
Right.
You know, your employer hires you, he or she pays you based on the fact that he or she sees your work. That's technically the proof of work. If you don't work, you don't get paid.
So basically, I think for most of the uninitiated is that the two main differences between proof of work is that you're doing some actual CPU computational work, which is running in a electrical device like a microprocessor device or whatever to actually create the hashes for a coin or a blockchain to actually verify the work. Whereas a proof of stake is actually what you're doing is you're using a computer with a lot less CPU or sort of electrical usage to actually stake your coin. So actually what you're doing for the network is that you're actually putting up some of your coins as a way of saying, this is me verifying what's going on the network. I think right now, more than ever, that you're seeing a lot of different protocols right now competing with each other versus proof of work versus proof of stake. But also considering what Ethereum is doing right now, is forking right now, I think Anthony would have some great input into how the Ethereum project is changing. We can talk about that a little bit later in the meetup, but if anybody else has anything else too, please ask, because we're more than happy to help out.
I'd like to address one question.
Wait, let's do this because it's we don't want to take up too much of Anthony's
I'll just take
time.
10 seconds if that's all right.
Go for it, Antoine, go for it.
Yeah, so Desmond Otieno asked, the Safe Moon frenzy, can you elaborate? Well, the thing about Safe Moon is that there's no such thing as a safe moon. The trip to the moon is always dangerous, so automatically I don't trust it. Yeah, I just wanted to say that.
There you go. Antoine has spoken.
Okay,
All right.
We have one direct question I was given, Leo and Mike and Anthony for listening. How will adoption of crypto be made easier when gas fees are so high?
Can we save that question for later? Because let's go with the community announcements. Then we can start with the fireside chat, and then we can go into those questions. Because we said 6:10, so let's keep to the to the
So,
schedule.
so with that being said, let's stick. With that being said, sorry, if you have any update on a company you're working with, and you want to provide that update at this time, just doing updates or what your kind of project you're working on, feel free to talk about that. Any questions related to Ethereum, let's just save that for the fireside chat and the questions in the chat for that period of time. So let's stick to that.
Okay. Anyone?
You can also raise your hand and I can pick you and you can talk about whatever you're working on.
Okay, so I guess let me just say this. Last 2 weeks ago, I announced that it was Ralph's birthday, and he corrected me and said it's today. So I'd like to wish Ralph, I think he's here, a happy birthday. I think he's 77. For those that have been to a
My man,
face-to-face or
Ralph.
been to a meetup, you see Ralph around, and Ralph is he would talk your ear off about energy and tokens and stuff like that. So Ralph, happy birthday. Okay. All right, I guess nobody has anything to announce, so we can move on.
All right.
Does Warren want to announce anything, or because I know usually he talks about his course, or he's given enough. Yeah.
All right, Leo, I think let's just get started. This way we can stay on track.
Okay.
So let's get right into it. We're talking about. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think correct him is Wade actually.
All right. So what is Bitcoin Bay all about? Bitcoin Bay is a consulting organization that has been around since 2013, 2014. We currently run Canada's largest meetup group in Toronto, and we have one big and great mission here. We want to build the world's blockchain ecosystem starting in Toronto. Bitcoin Bay is where your blockchain journey begins. As I mentioned before, we are Canada's largest and longest running blockchain community and consultancy. Our mission is simply to grow the ecosystem globally, starting from Toronto and Canada, and we want everyone to benefit from it. Just as a reminder, this video will be on YouTube. Mike made an announcement early on that it is being live recorded. So just wanted to give everyone a heads up. We are also on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. We've got Telegram groups, WhatsApp channels. So if you want to get added into those groups, give us a shout on the chat and we will get you added into those groups. We've got lots of great people talking about their projects within those community groups as well. And give us a shout, give us a follow, a thumbs up, a like, comment on our YouTube channel. Tell us what you want to see. Do you want to see more interesting speakers like Anthony in the future? Do you want to talk about more of the technological development in the blockchain space? Whatever it may be, just give us a comment and we will look into it and take that feedback so that the community can benefit from it. We are in partnership with Louis B. She is an independent OTC Bitcoin exchange located in the GTA. Her main location is at 279 Spadina Avenue in Toronto, Ontario. You can see her contact details there with her phone number. So if you're looking to buy Bitcoin over the counter in Toronto, be sure to hit up Louis
Are you
B.
in the Greater Toronto area?
If you
Do you
are
have some
within,
cash
outside
that's
within
burning a
that
hole in your
region
pocket
of
right now?
Toronto,
Don't waste your
Ontario,
time
or
dealing
anywhere
with
in
those
the world,
expensive Bitcoin
also
ATMs and take your cash on down to Louis B. With 5 locations to serve you across the GTA, Louis B makes it easy to trade cash for crypto. Check them out at louisbtc.com or give them a call at 647-866-6969 and get started today. Located at 279 Spadina Avenue, it's in the heart of Toronto's Chinatown. Other locations are in Scarborough, Mississauga, and 2 in Richmond Hill. That's louisbtc.com, LOUIIBTC.com, and start your Bitcoin journey today with the Bitcoin Bay.
before we get on with the presentations. Okay, I guess still a quiet crowd. I think they just want to hear from Anthony, so I will move on. Big announcement we recently made, and if no one has heard about it as of late, we have been pretty adamant with our social media posts. BlockHack 2021 Global is happening May 3rd to 9th, 2021. You can sign up on blockhack2021devpost.com and sign up as a hacker. We are currently still accepting hackers, so please be sure to run on in and sign up as soon as possible. The spots are running out as quickly. Also, we are looking for some spots as sponsors. So if you're interested to sponsor BlockHack Global 2021, be sure to look at these email addresses at the bottom, sponsor@blockhack.ca. Also, you can shoot us an email at info@bitcoinbay.ca. Also, our emails were on the previous slides. If you want to contact myself, Leo, Jerry, Alwyn, or Antoine, pretty much it's our first name at bitcoinbay.ca. So feel free to reach out to us if you want to be a hacker, if you want to volunteer. We've had some great people volunteer in the past, get recognized, and go on to do greater and bigger things within the space. And they all just started off as volunteer because they wanted to be involved in the tech. So if you're looking to volunteer as well, there's lots of opportunities. If you want to be a sponsor, lots of opportunities. If you just want to hack, get on in there and sign up. We can't wait to see you at the event.
Okay, so let me just quickly add to that BlockHack Global.
Yep.
We usually say hackers, but really it's a hackathon that's made up of a team, and a team really is not usually just developers. So it doesn't matter whether you're a developer or business person or graphics person or UX UI, you're welcome to join a team and build something creative, because what's happening in the space is not just based on developers alone. You need people that actually understand business use cases and that are subject matter experts that can build out all these applications. So I know you're going to hear us say hackers. Really, that's a loose and general term that we're using for participants. Doesn't matter what field you're in, just find a team, join a team, and build something creative and fun. And who knows, it might take you somewhere else. You might become your full-time project. So that was just my 2 cents on that. Okay.
Also, there's at least $2,500 worth of prizes, and some of the prizes will be in smaller bounties. So you don't have to be like a super good programmer to get some of the prizes. Some of them will just be for doing small tasks. And so anybody is welcome to try and get some prizes.
Actually, I missed out. To get the detailed information, go to www.blockhack.ca, and there you will see the links. It's from the 3rd to the 9th. We have the hackathon for 5 days with the one-day conference on Saturday. So if you don't want to do the hackathon, you just want to do a conference, you can register for that one-day conference. We will have speakers, a panel, and stuff like that on all topics from DeFi to NFT to trading, I guess. And Sunday will be the judging. And then on the Thursday thereafter, we'll be doing the Bid Angels, our usual Bid Angels, featuring some of the winning teams and also companies that are looking to raise money as well. So that'll be for that. Did I miss anything, guys?
So on that note, I just want to tag along with what Leo said. We will be combining with Bid Angels to do a startup pitch for my understanding, the winners of the hackathon. So they'll get a chance to pitch in front of Bid Angels. And we do a quarterly Bid Angels pitch event, as we are their official city partners. So if you're looking to come to the hackathon, make something great, you just never know. You could take that idea right from the hackathon into an investment. So it's a really exciting opportunity, and you could like really make some, like, you can make it.
Also, if you're working on your own crypto project right now, you're allowed to work on your project during BlockHack. Only if you just have to, only the code you wrote during the hackathon gets judged. But if you're working on a project, BlockHack is a really great place just to build an app or build something and just get a lot of work done in a very short period of time.
And we are blockchain agnostic. So we don't care if you do it on Ethereum, Polkadot, Avalanche, Cardano, just build. Just come and build something fun.
Yeah, I'm getting all my friends who are doing projects to join BlockHack just to get more work done.
Okay. So I think that's,
sorry, Leo, we are also looking for speakers for our conference event. So if you're looking to speak at the event, shoot us an email again and we'll get back in touch with you so that we can coordinate how we can make this a great conference for multiple speakers. So reach out to us.
okay.
All right. With further ado, I'm going to let Leo take over. We've got the main presentation with Anthony, and I'm just going to get Leo to take over. Thank you, Anthony, once again for joining us and supporting Bitcoin Bay and being here today.
All right. So hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. And I have the pleasure of introducing Anthony. I've known Anthony since my first ever crypto event. It's 2013. I went to Charlotte Street and I walked in. There was a bunch of strange, interesting individuals. And this was being hosted by Anthony Iorio. That's where I met Alwyn and all the rest of these guys. And Anthony, to me, I consider as the godfather of blockchain crypto in Toronto, basically in Canada. I've had the pleasure of speaking to Anthony on basically numerous occasions. I've seen the work he's done from basically helping nurture and grow the blockchain community in Canada, Toronto, especially with Ethereum, with Jaxx, with Decentral, with crypto, with all these iterations. And I've seen the support he's given to entrepreneurs in the blockchain space when he was doing the Decentral space, where a lot of the initiatives of companies started from his space. So it's with ado and pleasure that I introduce a person that I consider a friend, a person that I consider a mover in the space. And we're going to spend 30 to 45 minutes having a discussion about how he got into the space, what he thinks is happening in the space currently, what he's doing, and what he sees his future is outside of crypto. Because I've talked to Anthony a few times, and crypto is just a small part of what he does and what he's looking to do. He's got a great vision. So again, this is an opportunity that most people don't have that we're happy to bring to you. So Anthony, I've said a whole lot, but you can add one thing or two about what people don't know about you, then we can go into the history of how you got into crypto or Bitcoin at the time that we knew. Go ahead, Anthony.
Well, first off, guys, it's really nice to see everybody here. It really is nostalgic with the events that we've done or that have been put on, which many of you have been involved with over the years. I see Edward here and Jan here and Leonard and Ralph and I'm not going to say too many more names, but everybody else that's been along the ride for a number of years. It's nice to be back in this type of environment. It has been a while to see this many people on screen here, especially people from Toronto. So I really appreciate you having me here, and thanks very much. And I wanted to kind of, as a throwback back to the old days, do some contests today. And I thought it'd be interesting to do some like trivia questions where I can give out some prizes like we used to do in the meetups for trivia stuff. So maybe I'll do 3 or 4 of those throughout the next 45 minutes on some different things. And people can have their choice of the winnings of what they want. I've got a wallet here that's got some Bitcoin in it, some Ethereum, some Bitcoin Cash, some Litecoin, Ethereum Classic, and even Doge. So why don't we start that out with the first thing? We can do and this is open to whoever, even the Bitcoin Bay staff. And where's Alwyn? Is he okay? I don't see him here.
Well, we don't know what's up with the coin guru because he should be here.
Yeah, miss him. It'd be nice to see him, but it's good to see
actually,
him.
So I want everybody to know my first Ethereum I got from Anthony.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first ever Ethereum I got from Anthony. It was at an event that he was doing the same thing. He was giving away basically prizes. And again, this goes to the heart of the individual we're sitting and watching. And again, Anthony, so how did you get into crypto? And before we get to the first prize, I just want
Sure.
want to get a baseline of how you got into crypto and so forth.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to go back to my childhood, and my dad brought home when I was about 8 years old the first personal computer for the household, and I was born in the mid 70s, 1975 actually, and I think it was about when I was 8, so we would have been in the early 80s, 82, 83. He brought an IBM PC Junior personal computer home, and this was right at the beginnings of the personal computing age, and that became over the next number of years the thing that I was most passionate about was computers and building computers and computers camps, and that led me right up to the age before the internet came about, and I was using modems to connect to other people in the 80s, late 80s. So it was really, I was known in the family as the computer guy. When I did something bad, my parents took my computer away. So the first start for me, my first decade of my life, I would say was the personal computer. And it was just that time when the power of the personal computers was starting to be explored, and what could be done with it for gaming, what could be done with it for word processing, for accounting with spreadsheets. All these things were starting to be explored. And then before the internet, with modems, being able to connect to another computer and be able to converse with someone else and sharing images and things like that was just the life that I was immersed in. There was kind of three things. There was books, there was computers, and sports for me. I played hockey and I played soccer and baseball growing up. In the early 90s, my first business was developing websites with HTML1 back in the day. Me and my brother started a company called Context Web Creations right at the dawn of the internet. And we developed websites, some of which and logos are still kind of active today with some of the stuff that we created. During the 90s, I didn't really want to get into computers as a career in terms of being a developer. And my dad was an entrepreneur. He was a problem solver. He used to work at IBM. He was a physics guy, a math guy. He went to the University of Waterloo. And one of the biggest things that he instilled in me was the questioning of why for everything. The idea that why things work the way they do. Is there better ways of doing things? Is there other ways that you can do to solve problems? And that's something that was really important to me growing up. And my dad, as an entrepreneur, as a problem solver, as an inventor, it's just something that really translated to me. And I went to school at Ryerson University for business, just because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I never really liked school. I didn't like being told what to do. But I took business and I graduated with a marketing degree. And I did that for a while. Didn't really care much for marketing, as I felt it was kind of like fooling people into doing something they might not want to do. And I've never really liked sales or marketing for that reason. Through the 2000s, I worked in the family business, which was sliding patio door manufacturing. My dad had a company with his brothers. And there I learned a lot of my entrepreneurial skills. I learned a lot about hiring people. I learned a lot about managing people and the office, and just so many different things that gave me a more well-rounded approach to business. At the same time, I bought a property at York University. It was a new development there that was right on the campus, and I started segregating the place so that students could live there. And that was kind of my foray into housing. And this was at a time when the housing prices really started skyrocketing between 2005 and 2010, 2011. My dad decided to sell the business in 2008. And there was an opportunity for me to do something that I wanted to do, because I didn't want to work for the people that were buying the company. And he asked me what I wanted to get involved in. And I had said to him, I want to get involved in something green, so something environmentally friendly, and something technology oriented. Two things that were kind of big for me at the time, and especially the environmental systems that were emerging then as green technologies were starting to really set the pace of their own there. So we happened to have a family friend that was into geothermal drilling. He was like the foremost expert in geothermal drilling. And geothermal drilling, for those that don't know, is drilling into the ground and using the Earth's temperature to heat and cool buildings. So I bought this drill from Italy with my dad's help. After the sale of the company, I started a drilling company. And I went to Italy and proceeded to use this drill to do the heating and cooling systems for 2 IKEAs in Italy. We ended up drilling hundreds of feet into the ground, hundreds of holes, and you use the Earth's temperature to actually provide the heating and cooling there, thus replacing the need for combustion systems and fossil fuels in order to use it. So I proceeded to then bring the drill back to Toronto. And for the next about year and a half, I started doing condominiums and retirement centers and homes. And it was kind of along that journey that I started getting my first foray into government issues and how governments can kind of get in the way of things. And with green technologies, there's a lot of times where governments can kind of come in and create a lot of red tape on things that you're trying to do good. And for us, it was the government being kind of concerned with the aquifers in the ground getting contaminated and ended up slowing down projects. And there was also incentives at the time for green systems, which they ended up removing. And I'm not a fan of incentives that actually give businesses different rules than other things. So I'm not a big fan of incentives, but at the time it became not feasible to do these drilling projects anymore in Ontario, which was unfortunate. And then there's a little bit of a tie into there with Ethereum, with some of the issues that we had trying to get that off the ground in Ontario or in Canada as well. And I'll talk about that maybe in the future. But I found myself in a situation where I ended up leasing the drill out to someone else. I ended up selling my property. This was in 2010, 2011. I had two properties at the time. And the rise of prices in the housing from 2005 to 2011 meant that I had like a number of hundreds of thousands of dollars of capital that I had available. And I decided to sell because I'd been studying what had gone on in the housing crisis and the financial crisis in the US. And I started studying economics, and because I'd always been really freedom oriented and freedom minded, I started looking at the Austrian School of Economics and a different way of studying economics as opposed to the Keynesian model, which is taught so regularly. And I think the crux of a lot of issues, the Keynesian model being, leading to a lot of booms and bust cycles and money that's not sound and printed money and inflation. I really leaned more towards the Austrian school and started really studying what was going on there. So I spent about a year and a half studying economics and studying what had happened with the housing crisis and the financial crisis, and thinking that was going to happen in Canada. I sold my properties, and I was wrong about the housing markets and what ended up happening down the road. But I ended up with this capital, and in 2012, as I was studying again a lot about freedom and the Austrian School of Economics, I came across a podcast called Free Talk Live. And Free Talk Live is actually the genesis of how a lot of people in the space heard about crypto. And don't quote me on this, but it's people such as I think Eric Voorhees and Charlie Schramm. This podcast that was available on dozens and dozens of radio stations was all about freedom. It was all about personal responsibility. And on the first episode I listened to in the summer of 2012, they mentioned Bitcoin. And I didn't know what it was. I'd never heard about it. I proceeded to look it up, and right away, it just took a hold of me. My technology background, my understanding of decentralized technologies, following the whole music scene with Napster and all those different movements of peer-to-peer file sharing, studying of economics, my entrepreneurial background really culminated into a time that I couldn't utilize what I saw as the next big thing. When the internet started, I just was a little too green around the ears to do it. I was in university. I couldn't utilize that to my advantage at the time. But in 2012, my first 10 years of my life in computers, my second 10 in communications and the internet, and then in university learning, and then entrepreneurship, and then economics, really was a perfect storm to come together for me to understand the power of Bitcoin and what it could enable to empower individuals to be in control of their digital lives. And that's what really stuck with me, is that I could now be my own bank. And Andreas Antonopoulos, as smart as he is and intelligent as he is, says that everybody has that one period where they dismiss Bitcoin. And I must say, I never had that point. I heard about it. I bought my first Bitcoin that day. It was something around $9.63. I went and found someone on Local Bitcoins. He told me what mining was. He showed me his mining operation. I went to his business. I learned very quickly I didn't want to get into mining because of what had gone on with Butterfly Labs at the time. I saw this guy that was trying to sell these machines. I just didn't like him. I'm like, I'm not doing mining. I'm going to buy Bitcoin instead. So I ended up spending about $8,000, and I bought my first 800 Bitcoin or so in 2012. And after weeks of devouring Bitcoin, the Bitcoin talk forums, I just immersed myself. I wasn't sleeping. I looked for a community out there, and there wasn't one at the time. There was absolutely nothing out there in Toronto that I could meet other like-minded people that had the desire to talk about the technology and the potential that this would have. So I took the leap and I created the Toronto Bitcoin Meetup Group on meetup.com, and I decided to hold my first meetup. And I lived up in Richmond Hill at the time, and for those that don't know, it's about half an hour north of Toronto. And I did the meetup at Popper's Pub. It was a bar in downtown Toronto. It's the same place where the Libertarian organization had done their event. So I'd been there before, and I thought it'd be a good place to do the meetups. And it was a Saturday afternoon, and I said, here, I'm excited about Bitcoin. For others that are interested, join me. And we had about 8 people show up. And this was the first kind of genesis, I think, of the first organized event for Bitcoin in Toronto. There was some stuff going on already in, I think, Vancouver already. But this was the first thing happening in Toronto. And this was the first day I met Vitalik Buterin. He showed up. This was the first day I met Peter Todd. He showed up. This was the first time I met a few other people, notable people in the space. And it's kind of the genesis of the first meetups. And I then proceeded to each month start holding more meetups. And I figured that's how you start getting things flowing. It's how you start getting ideas and you bring people together. And it's so similar to what Bitcoin Bay has done over the last number of years. You know, bringing people together and letting ideas flourish and grow and excitement happen. And people with all types of different backgrounds come together. And I just found that when you do that and when you organize community, great things can happen. So was kind of my initiative was if there's no community, I'm going to take the initiative and I'm going to start that up. And that's kind of how I helped to bring people together back then. And then the events grew. They ended up doing them weekly. And then so much kind of was spurned from that.
All right. So for those that were not there, that didn't know the ethos or the energy that Anthony and his team put together, I'm telling you, at the first meetup I walked in, I felt welcome. I met Vitalik. I met a few people, and those people I met out of Toronto are doing great things in the blockchain crypto space. Now, you mentioned earlier that with the work from your parents, your father's business and whatnot, you start to get into being able to pick talent, see who can work what. So how did you, because I had a talk with Vitalik at that time when he was talking about Ethereum before Ethereum was, and what Ethereum was before the white paper was totally different from what it went. So what did you see in Vitalik and some other projects that came to you that basically said, you know what, I can make this work and I'm going to help put the team together? Because a lot of people don't realize that you were one of the crucial people that helped put the Ethereum team together. So what did you see and what did you look for? At some point, I think even maybe, I could be wrong, help fund part of the project.
So what I saw through Vitalik over the next year was, you know, he over the next year ended up leaving Waterloo, University of Waterloo, traveled around the world, exploring other Bitcoin projects. And this was the same time that I set up the Bitcoin Alliance of Canada, which was a national nonprofit organization to expand my reach and network with the rest of Canadians out there aside from Toronto. So this organization enabled me to kind of spread my reach beyond Toronto. I ended up meeting a lot of amazing people throughout Canada. But that also enabled me to then start traveling globally and speaking at conferences and kind of representing Canada. And since he was also on the same type of path, working at different projects around the world from Mastercoin and BitShare, kind of seeing what people were doing and seeing where people were struggling, I ended up meeting up with him very frequently around the world, and we would get together and he would interview me for some of the stuff I was doing in Canada because he was writing for Bitcoin Magazine at the time. So you get to know somebody and you get to know there's certain principles and ethos. And I saw Vitalik as an extremely smart, teenager at the time who was really improving his writing skills. I saw the whole progression of his writing skills from being very basic and raw to really growing and becoming a much more polished writer. And I got to understand his punctuality, his just there's so many amazing characteristics that I learned over the year. This was somebody that I could align with. and his knowledge, and so many times what he wrote was over my head. As soon as he got into the formulas, like on all this stuff, I'm out. And I got to showcase other people and say, hey, do you understand what's going on here? Because math was never my thing. But I think it was much to do with his upbringing and his raising that I felt comfortable trusting him and trusting what he was doing. So it's an alignment, I think, of principles that I was exposed with my parents, and things that you end up aligning with people that you feel that you can do something with them. And I think that's how I kind of connected with him. And that's also I connected with my partner, Stephen Dack, who even before Vitalik and us started doing work, he was a developer that on Reddit one time just messaged out that he was looking for someone with business ideas, and he was a developer, and we connected. And 2 days later, I was in his place in New Jersey, and we knocked out a gambling site called Satoshi Circle. And that was the genesis of our partnership that ended up leading to CryptoKit, which was a precursor to Jaxx. And it was kind of that reach out that he did that really sparked things, because I was looking for someone that I could connect with to add to my skills. And he was such an amazing developer. And we kind of got together and realized that we want to start building wallets. And the wallets are really the browser for the blockchain space, because the browser was the interface that masses use to navigate the internet and navigate the age of information. And the wallet is the navigation tool for the age of value. So we started building wallets, recognizing that that was going to be the core interface that people are going to use in order to send and receive value. And that's kind of how we kicked off with that. And Vitalik joined us on that mission, and he helped out with CryptoKit with the things we did. And then he showed me the white paper, and it was more of a trust thing, I think, with him. I think I was the first person he showed the white paper to. And at that time, I had gotten to know a gentleman named Charles Hoskinson. We were both doing things for the community. He was part of the Bitcoin education project back in the day, and we had got connected with what I was doing for the Bitcoin Alliance of Canada. And for those that don't know, Charles was a fellow co-founder of Ethereum. He's also obviously the founder of Cardano. And I showed him the white paper and got the validation from Charles, connected him with Vitalik. And then the three of us, along with two others, and this can be the first question. This is the first challenge. All right, in the chat, you have to spell them right, okay? And you get your choice of the coins that I said, but I'll give out $100 to whoever can come up with two names of the other two founders that created the initial five. And the spelling's got to be accurate, okay? So the initial five founders of Ethereum, just put the other two names that I haven't mentioned. So you got myself, Vitalik, and Charles Hoskinson. Who were the other two? And not of the eight, of the five. Keep that in mind. There was initial five, and then there was eight afterwards. So I'll let you guys keep going on that. So Charles gave the validation. I connected with Vitalik. Another two people that Vitalik had known kind of joined the project, and that's when things really took off. And this was the end of 2013, end of November, early December. And at the same time, I had rented a old kind of house at King and Spadina in downtown Toronto, because previously we were working at a coffee shops, and I was doing some local Bitcoin trading. And I noticed that we started attracting crowds in coffee shops. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So much energy is flowing between people coming together. We need a space. We need a home. We need a home to do these meetups, because the bars just weren't cutting it. These spaces weren't cutting it. We would always get pushed aside. We needed a place to come together. And I found a place. I moved downtown to just focus on crypto. I knew I had to be in the city of Toronto downtown to do this. So I moved from Regina, rented a place not nearby, and then got this house and started reconstructing it. And on January 1st, 2014, Bitcoin Decentral was born. And this was right when we were really compiling the first month of Ethereum, and it became the first home of Ethereum. And it also became the home of the second Bitcoin ATM in the world, and a bit access machine from Ottawa that I had been approached to set it up. And we launched that, lineups down the street. So on New Year's Day, 2014, we held a meetup, and there was hundreds of people there. And it was the first hub in Toronto to really be a space just for decentralized technologies, just for Bitcoin at that time. And that's really was kind of the first home that we could say that we had, because before we were just in different spaces, but we actually had a place that we could all get together and meet and ideas can flourish and grow.
So, and I was there for that one, I can happily say. And it was packed. Believe me, it was packed. Now that said, you organized the Bitcoin Expo and you brought all these notables into the space. And a lot of projects happened at the hackathon there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So based on your experience on growing communities, how did you see that transition going? You know what? This is going well. I think Toronto, being a central, wanting to play a central role, I should put together a Bitcoin Expo, because I've already worked on the Bitcoin Alliance of Canada thing. Like, what got you to go? That is a natural progression.
Yeah, I ended up renting the Metro Toronto Convention Center, and I got such a good base of network globally that I just thought it'd be amazing to showcase Toronto and bring in this amazing group of people from around the world to show them what we built up at Decentral, Bitcoin Decentral at the time, and what the community has, because it was super flourishing at the time. The events started getting to hundreds of people, these meetups, they started becoming weekly. There was just a massive energy at that time in 2013, 2014. And especially with the attention and the energy that Ethereum was starting to bring forward globally was just unparalleled and unprecedented. It was a recognition that beyond Bitcoin, there's something else. And it was really the first time that I think people started seeing that there might be something beyond Bitcoin. And I'm a very inclusive person. I'm not a binary, I'm this, I'm that. I'm a massive Bitcoin fan. I'm a big Ethereum fan. I'm a big anything that has value and brings value to people. I love competition. So I was very welcoming to the idea of Ethereum. I'm very welcoming to the idea of many others. But it was the first time I think there was a recognition that this could span beyond finance. And as powerful as Bitcoin is, the addition of smart contracts into something similar like Bitcoin really expands the possibilities to an endless degree that can have such a massive impact on so many other sectors that potentially Bitcoin can't have. So it was let's bring people together and let's showcase Bitcoin, but it ended up turning much more into an Ethereum event actually. And Ethereum became the lead sponsor for the event. But this was also much further along. We announced Ethereum at the Miami event in January 2014. We did the Bitcoin Expo, I think it was in April 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of culminated as the attention was coming for Ethereum. It was just a perfect way to showcase that you got Bitcoin, you have the potential for Ethereum, and what else is out there. And that was really the big thing is there's not just going to be these two things. There's going to be an amount of value-added projects that are going to enter the mix here. So it was a really eye-opening time there. And what better way than to bring the world to Toronto? We had, I think, 800 attendees that came to the conference. We had 4 or 5 different stages in the Metro Toronto Convention Center. And I think it was phenomenal. It was a team effort. We had people like Jan were there doing a lot of photography work. We had Tracy Laperuto helping me to organize the conferences. Antoine was there, Leonard, you were there, like Leo, you were there. Like it was just so many people came out for this thing, and it just was another stepping stone to what Toronto has done, and what we kind of marked our ground with to showcase what 3 of the initial Canadians of the 8 were of Ethereum were Canadian. And I think a lot of what's done in Canada can be attributed to the amount of energy and the people coming together through those years to create some amazing projects here in Toronto.
Okay, that said, I want to touch a bit on the wallet aspect of it, the web, browser-based wallet, because you caught on to something and you kind of iterated it into its final iteration of Jaxx. Now you have other people actually all of a sudden realizing that, yes, a wallet, a browser-based wallet might be the key. You have the standard wallet here and there, and you have people building wallets to do other things. From a wallet provider, what do you see as the major technical issue that you've experienced while you were going through all these iterations?
And iterations is definitely the key there. We've had, we started building wallets in 2013. We're now 2021. So it's been 8 years of failing, learning, adapting, adjusting. And it's been such a ride of dedication, because our goal is to provide, and my goal has always been with Decentral, and we switched to Decentral and dropped the Bitcoin in front of it to showcase that we're here for all decentralized technologies. We did that, I think, in 2014. But my goal has always been to empower people with the tools to be in control of their lives. That's always been the mission. It's an understanding that the way that a lot of business models work is to give up something, give up your identity, give up your information, give up control of your money to someone else and trust them. And those models we've seen time and time again, and we saw it with the financial crisis, the housing crisis, what went on in Cyprus about governments going in and be able to take people's funds, that why can't we use technology and principles and sound money to create a system where the user's in control? The user's in control of every aspect of their life. And that to me includes their money, their communications, and their identities. Those are the three things I believe should be owned by the individual. Alwyn, you're here. Good to see you, buddy. So those three things are what I've always built my products around. I really believe that the models of taking user information and giving them some type of service in return and putting that information into a centralized system that could potentially be hacked, it's just not the best way of doing things. And it leads to further issues for those business model companies that do that. And we've seen that with large companies right now that use those models. And they're being questioned, why are you doing that? And they say, well, because that's all we know. And unfortunately, that's just not a good enough reason to do that. And then you have advertising models, which you have an and this gets back to my marketing background, but you're paid to sell something, and the platform is getting revenue to try to get a user to go do something that the advertiser wants. And unfortunately, I feel that it takes advantage of people that don't know any better, and it leads to a lot of this fake news, and it leads to a lot of this tribal mentalism that we've seen in the world and in politics, because these people are taken down a path that they don't even know they're being led down, because the advertising is so good that they're being, unbeknownst to them, driven down a direction and basically controlled to go do something in order to sell a product. So you have the collection of information that I find is an issue, because it ends up getting exposed, and people should be in control of their information. And then you also have people going down this path, mostly relying on fake news, which attaches to some type of emotional reaction, because fake news spreads a lot faster than real news. And it's proven it's like 6 times faster fake news will spread. So the advertising models and this user information collection models, to me, are not acceptable. And for 8 years, I've been building products that say, we're not going to use those models. We're not going to collect your information. We're not going to put advertising in front of your face. We're going to figure out other ways to create value for our users so that they can be in control of their lives. So the mission with Decentral has always been to create the tools that empower people to be in control of their lives. And building wallets that don't actually hold customer funds, but put the user in control of those funds, is something that's always been the principles that we've relied on to create our products. So we don't collect user information. It's not even and I'm not here to push my products. I just want to make that very clear. This is just the principles of what we build on. It's that the user should be in control of their money, their communication, their identity. We don't even ask you for an email address. Okay, we don't ask you for an email address. We don't want to know who you are, and I don't want to hold your money. Okay, you should be in control of the keys, and the technologies that have been advanced are enabling you to do that. So there's other ways that you can figure out how to create value and monetize, and we do it through partnerships. We do it by saying, join us in our mission to connect users with valuable services in an interface that is multi-currency, multi-platform, because we want to be the one-stop shop for the average person. And I always build stuff for my dad. Okay, the average person that wants to understand what's going on and needs an interface to do things. And that's what we've been building for 8 years. And it's just this year we're actually finally getting the user acquisition mode. We've done 8 years of building the infrastructure, interoperable, scalable infrastructure, which is the biggest part and biggest problem when you're dealing with decentralized technologies. Is how do you get this information to users all around the world every time a 15-second block happens? They need to know their balance. They need to know this. We've got 12 different blockchains that we support. So it's been 8 years of trial and error to build this amazing infrastructure. The interface, the infrastructure, the partnerships are all the things that are needed in the decentralized world, and that's what we've been building. And it's just this year that we're starting to actually spend money to attract users. We've never spent a dime to actually bring users in, yet we do about 3,000 to 5,000 users a day with Jaxx Liberty, and we're in 220 countries. But we're just starting now to advance that. And we make money with our partners. When our partners are engaged, and that's trading partners or buying partners, because in Jaxx, you can buy crypto with fiat, you can trade crypto, you get your portfolio, you get your pricing, you get your news, and you get your wallets that you're in full control of. That's kind of the whole package we've been building. And now we're starting to scale and grow. So this year is all about seeing what we can do if we start putting money into attracting users. So it's been 8 years of building, growing, learning, failing. And that's what you got to do if you're passionate about what's going on. And that's what you have to do to kind of succeed. And we've done it, I think, with really good principles. We've done it in a way that people, that we feel comfortable saying, we don't want your information. We're not going to make money on that. We don't want you to look at advertisements. We're not going to make money on that. We don't want to do that. And we've done it in a way that you're in full control of the keys. So we've got billions of dollars right now that are being managed in Jaxx, but we don't manage it. You do. The individuals around the world hold their keys. So we just provide you the interface that you can do it with. And that's kind of been our mission, empowering people.
So let me just circle back on the business aspect of it. You were one of the first people that I knew in the crypto space that kind of got into a legitimate organization, meaning that like the TSX or TMX as the CDO, Chief Digital Officer. Now, move forward now, you have all these quote unquote banks and institutions trying to get into the blockchain crypto, having their own flavor. What was your foresight that you brought to TMX at that time, saying, you know what, this is the advantage that Bitcoin or crypto can do for you? And how did your interaction with them, how did that go in order for them to basically set themselves up for what's happening now? Or did they even bother setting themselves up for what's happening now?
So I think one of the biggest things that I've learned from my brother actually was diplomacy. And I've never been in a position where I want to see others fail or see a disruption that's going to lead to a failure with other industries or organizations. I believe we got to bring everybody along. So I've never been in the perspective that we got to get rid of banks. We got to get rid of the stock exchanges. It's, if they're willing to adapt and understand what's coming up, I'd love to be able to help them to get to where they'd like to be, because at the end of the day, they're just people, and people have jobs. And if we can utilize what they're good at and bring them along, you're going to have a better chance of working with people if you're providing a win for them, rather than saying, we want you out, we want you gone, we're creating a whole new thing and screw you. So I really learned it's better to actually try to bring everybody along and create wins for all stakeholders in the mix. So I was very open to working and dealing with the Toronto Stock Exchange. Deloitte hired me for consulting when they were first learning about blockchain. The banks that we were working with for consulting. It was, if you want to listen and learn, or not listen, I don't say, if you want to just know what's going on, we're at the forefront of that. And I'm happy to expose what we've learned and what we figured out, to see if there's some value in what you want to do. So I've never been in the position where I felt that let's get rid of those guys, or let's screw them and let's get them. No, because anybody you can bring along in what you're doing, and if you can provide wins for people and improve their lives, they're going to join you. Why do I want people against what it is I'm doing? So why not try to bring them along and utilize what they're good at? So it was consulting engagements with the Toronto Stock Exchange that led them to say, we'd like you to have a more permanent position with us. And I kind of got to make up my title. And I said, what about Chief Digital Officer? And I'll come work for you from 4 to 8 in the morning, but then I got to run Decentral from 8 till whatever I got to do. So it was about 9 months where I was working with them on creating change and seeing the value of these new technologies. And it also was a learning experience for me, because everything's a learning experience. All my failures are learning experiences. And I don't say I love failing, but failing is a great thing. If you take it as a perspective that the more you do and the more you fail, the more you learn from it, it's a great thing. And don't be disappointed with failures if you keep going and you keep learning from them and moving forward. So it was a chance for me to see, can an organization with such grandness, so many people, could they be a disruptor? Not a disruptor. I don't know why I use that word. Like, could they create change for Canada with the strengths they have? And at the end of the day, it was very challenging. They were so restricted. A lot of regulatory restrictions, because they were kind of almost a monopoly in Canada. They had a lot of things that were not enabling them to be able to adapt new things coming along. But I really learned a lot from it. But it really was my goal to see if a large organization like TMX, such a known and grand history, could do something groundbreaking to create the change. And I still have optimism that they can do it. But at the time, I had to really focus on what I was doing. So it was about 9 months that I did the position, but things really started growing with what I was doing with Decentral and with Jaxx there, that I left the position, but with a lot of lessons and a lot of learnings from that. And it really helped me to understand the thinking of a lot of the incumbents in the space and the difficulties they have with the size and with the regulatory burdens and how to navigate that. So it was, I'm very fortunate to deal with that. And it was something that was an interesting part of my life. And I did learn quite a bit from.
Okay. Now I know people are trying to ask or asking, what do you see happening in the current ecosystem or current space? You have NFTs, which is the buzzword now, and you have DeFi, and basically most of the innovation has been happening in the fintech kind of way. Let's touch on that. What do you see about those, and also touch on other verticals like healthcare or some other verticals. Supply chain is another buzzword people use, that you see blockchain or crypto helping. So
I can only speak from my eyes and my perspective, and things like DeFi and NFT have been around for years for me. It's not sexy to me anymore. I don't have the when I see so many other people doing, I think it's fantastic because it's finally taken hold and it's going to get a lot of exposure, I think. But for me, I'm always thinking, what's the next thing? And with NFTs, like I identified a while ago, this may be something for NFT guys. It's not just about having a digital art piece so you can have ownership of it. It's the experience that comes along with it. And it's also the physical aspect of it. Those are 3 things that I identified a long time ago really will create value with NFTs. The fact that I don't own something that I can just put on the wall behind me here, I don't care. It's not a big thing for me. I'll just put it on the wall. I don't need to own it. It's more for collectors. So here's a couple interesting tie-ins. Okay, here we can do this. This is the second contest. Second question. What's the name? Okay, let me make it a little difficult. What's the name of the person that? What was the name of the person that sold the largest NFT at auction, and what was the name of the person that bought it? And I'll tell you how they both tie into me once we get that going there. But that's the next question. Give you guys some time to think about, to put that one down. And I'm good with just the first name of the guy that bought it. But what's interesting is he's the guy that sold me the ATM back in 2013. He was part of the Bit Access crew out of Ottawa, the guy that bought the NFT. And I introduced the guy that sold it back in 2017 to the whole Ethereum and NFT space, actually. So the guy that sold it, the guy that did the art piece, I reached out to him in 2017 because I was doing a boat cruise in New York City for the Consensus event. And he was an artist. And I wanted him to do the backdrops behind the DJs. And he did that kind of stuff. So I reached out to him and I told him about Ethereum. And in 2020, just last year, he reached out to me by email and said, Anthony, I wish I'd listened to you back then. I'm starting to get involved in the NFT space, and I've got some cool ideas and concepts. And yeah, thanks for kind of introducing to me back then. So there was a tie-in for me introducing this guy that did the thing there, and then also the guy that bought it was the guy that sold me the ATM back in 2013. So, and I'll have to go through the chats. Maybe someone can help me with doing this. I haven't seen it yet, but there's two contests right there.
Yeah, we will collect receive the chats, and we can kind of curate that after.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's cut the first one out and say that all the answers are done with that one. And the answer, the answer to the first one is Mihai Alize and Amir Chetrit. Okay. Okay. And we'll give it a few more minutes for the second one, but
Gaurav and Michael, go through the list and pick out the first person to have those numbers, and we can get their detailed information, and we can always forward that to Anthony.
Okay, and yeah, you don't have to actually, for the second one, you don't have to come up with his stage name. You can actually come up with his real name, which I saw someone do. So that's cool. So so what do I think of them? I think it's amazing that they're finally doing things like empowering artists to be able to figure out how to monetize their digital artwork, because prior, anything digital could be copied. You know, that's the same issues that anything digitally had with currency. It could be copied. And when you can copy something, it loses the scarcity and loses the value. And that's why digital assets didn't have any value before Bitcoin. And I always say that's the greatest thing that Bitcoin brought to humanity, was the ability to not duplicate a digital asset. For the first time ever, you could have something digital that couldn't be copied. And it makes good sense to be able to copy, let's say, an email or something digital that's information. But for money, it has to have certain properties. And before Bitcoin, if you could copy a dollar bill, a digital dollar, it doesn't make any sense. And Bitcoin was the first ever technology that made it that you could have something scarce and something with the properties of money that couldn't be duplicated. And now you have NFTs, which is the ability to have ownership of something digital that is a single item. And it's opened the doors for artists and creators around the world to do that. And I think it's going to be a massive surge in the future. But just personally for me, it was something that I had ideas and concepts with for years. So the next evolution is going to be physical, digital, and experiential. If you can tie those into NFTs, so we'll say it right now, we've already seen it. We got Beeple, which is Mike Winkelmann was the actual, the person that created the art piece that I introduced back to Ethereum and stuff way back in the day. You're going to have something that, what if he had sold something that actually he went and then delivered some type of physical item that was also attached to the digital art piece that he could go and give to somebody? Wouldn't that have taken it to the next level? So physical, digital, and experiential, I think, are three things that need to be combined, because again, I could just put his art piece on my wall and I don't really, like, I'll just show it. I don't care if I own it or not. But if you could actually do those other two things, it adds a lot of value. So any NFT project, I think, add those other two elements to it and you're going to distinguish yourself. You could have baseball cards. Like, it's great we have digital cards that are basketball cards or whatever it is. But what if you had physical cards that were NFC chipped that you could then tie into your digital cards, and then you'd have the players that could go hand them out to, there's just so many other levels that you could do with things. And that's kind of where my thoughts have been for years. So DeFi and NFTs, they're really cool. There's a lot of people involved in it. But for me personally, it's over the last 2 years with feeling that the more I was trying to search for freedom, the less free I became. And that's something that's really important to me. Like the last couple of years, I had to have security teams. And you guys probably know, I didn't start feeling safe. And I felt that because I'm my own bank, I'm now at risk. And that's the opposite of what I was searching to have in the blockchain space and the crypto. I wanted to be my own bank, but with that became responsibility that I wasn't aware of. And it started me really thinking, is this search for freedom really what I want? And really what is my major goal in life? So it took me about 2 years, over the last couple of years, of really going low profile, really thinking, I don't want this. I'm glad the markets kind of went down because I'm less of a target right now. And that's kind of cool. That's one of the good things about when markets go down, is because I'm not being listed in the Forbes top, list of whatever crypto people. And it started me really thinking, what is my mission in life? And I started figuring out, what is it, what do I want to do? What makes me the most happy, and how am I going to do that? And I started thinking about three things: my what, my why, and my how. What is it I want to do? Why do I want to do it? And how am I going to do it? And it was a massive shift from the search for freedom and liberty with what I was doing and building the tools and trying to find freedom in any way that I can, because I love being an individual. I think individuals are the most creative thing, and everybody's a unique individual. And when you start putting us in groups and start thinking that your characteristics are also what applies to the other groups you're in, I think it's a real degradation. And I think being an individual that's unique, that has unique qualities, that can offer something very creative to the world, is really what I try to strive for. And I hate normal. I don't hate many things, but I hate normal. I hate things that's what everybody else does. And that's kind of what I feel with the NFT DeFi kind of thing. It's like, there's so many people working on it now, and that's great and all, but what's the next thing that I can do? And after a lot of thought, I realized what made me the most happy, and it was to be of service. The idea of helping others and being able to to take my problem solving things that I've figured out over the years and be able to help the most amount of people became my what, and that's to be of service. And my why is because it makes me happy, and my how is my models to solve problems, and how I can use my models to solve problems and take it to the most amount of people. So over the last couple of years, there's been a transition. When you have what you need and you think you're all good, it's like, how can I give that back? How can I help more people? How can I be of service to the most amount of people? And that's where my mind has really been set on. And my goal now is to exit the blockchain space over the next 6 to 12 months, maximize the value that I built with Jaxx to be able to sell it for this 8 years of building for the most that I can. And then it's to take that money and kind of give it back. I want to take that capital, and I want to use my problem solving capabilities, which is what I think is my greatest asset. I think everybody can be a superhero in something, and I think it's what your tools are that you've built up and grown. And for me, it's problem solving. And I want to be able to take my models and be able to utilize that to help the most amount of people in the world and solve the greater problems. So philanthropic roles is what I'm going to be focusing on 100% once I sell Decentral and sell Jaxx. And then be able to take that capital and then focus on giving that capital back to the world in a way that's going to help the most amount of people. So that's kind of been the greatest change in my life over the last, well, there's another thing, but I'm not going to talk. This has been the most impactful thing for me. And it's really what's inspiring me and challenging me now to grow Jaxx, scale Jaxx. We're very profitable right now, which is great. And the idea is to, once you start actually focusing on user acquisition and spending money, we can multiple times take that, sell, and then take that capital and push it towards solving larger world problems and giving it back. And that's the being of service to me, I think, is the greatest thing that someone can do, and taking what they're good at to help everybody else.
Now, you touched on selling Jaxx, which is interesting because the guys at Coinbase went public, or they didn't go the traditional way, but they went public, and that was some of them how they exited out of some of their shares. Now, we've had private conversations, and I kind of have an idea of what you want to do with Jaxx, and you've disclosed it here. But that said, would you consider, I mean, because I know you're considering fully diversing Jaxx and Decentral, but at any point has going public been an option on the table?
No, I just don't like the model of going public. I don't like the model of reverse takeovers. I don't like the model of going public. I don't take people's money. Like, that's just a principle that I have. The last time that I took money was with Ethereum, and I did it because I was tapped out. I borrowed money from my dad to fund the project, and there was no other option that we had to raise the capital we needed to fund the building, the development. So, and I was also with 7 other partners, and I had already learned that I don't want partners before that. I knew it, but there was such an opportunity at the time that it was just, I was kind of thrust in that situation. So it was myself funding it. It was Joseph Lubin funding it. And then it was, I don't have any more to give back to that. So we ended up raising the capital. But since then, I've never taken a dime from anybody, and I don't take people's money. I don't want to have people's money. I don't want to be beholden to others. In fact, I want to spend my own money to give back, to show that I'm not actually taking people's money to be utilizing it in a way that I feel I need to give someone a return. And that's really important to me. I don't want to be in a situation where it's like, here, give me your money, and I'm going to provide you a return, and I'm going to compete against so many other people to do that. And I invest in a lot of projects, and for a lot of people, it makes sense to do it. So I don't want to say it's a bad model, but just for me, it doesn't, I don't like it. And I love the freedom of not having to give month after month returns and maximize shareholder returns. I feel that some of these technologies need to be many years built out. 8 years, I've said, it's taken me to get to the point that I think we can focus on user acquisition now. And a lot of times my desire to grow a company or do what I need to do can conflict with what an investor wants. And that takes a lot of time and energy away from what needs to be done. And I've seen a lot of other people struggle because they're consistently looking to raise money or consistently looking to have to provide returns to someone. So if not only do I not take investor money, but the thought of going public is even like another, like, oh my God, I'm going to have thousands of people that are going to be investors on me. I don't want that responsibility. So no, definitely going the traditional routes is not something I'm ever interested in. I would sell to a company that I would feel comfortable and trustworthy that they could take care of the customers that we have. that would be aligned with the nature that I have and the principles that I have. And this could be an exchange. It could be another wallet company. There's a lot of other options, a cloud services provider, because we also provide the backend systems that connect to all these chains. So we are also the kind of the cloud services provider or blockchain as a service provider as well. So there's a lot of opportunity for someone to buy us that's going to be able to have a full-blown system of everything they need to be a powerhouse in blockchain. But I definitely wouldn't do it the public routes. And if someone wanted to buy it and then do that, that's up to them. But no, it's not a model that I like.
Perfect. Now, I think we'll open it up because I've monopolized your time. For the next 15 minutes, we will open it up for Q&A. So I think we will pick some of the questions. Gaurav and Michael and Antoine, you guys have been answering questions. So if you guys see any questions in there that you want to read out, please read out, and we can have Anthony enlighten us on those questions.
And in the meantime, I'll think of the third trivia question.
Okay. So question 1 is closed. We know the answer to that. Question 2, we'll give you another 2 minutes, then we'll disclose, then we'll close that, and then we will do question 3 once you have that. And
okay, I got the question. This is a tough one.
Yeah.
Could I say it first, Leo?
Go ahead.
Okay. What are the 4 addresses? The first 4 addresses for Decentral, and this will be a $500 one. All right.
4 addresses.
The 4 addresses for
physical office space addresses.
Physical office addresses for, you don't have to know the floors or anything, but the actual physical 4 addresses for the first 4 Bitcoin Decentral / Decentrals.
There was that one up above the bridal shop on Spadina.
That's right. That was the second one.
That's then you had the other one that was the dental office. The old one at what was it?
Dental office. I don't know about a dental office.
No, not a
dental. In Spadina, around there.
No.
Well, that's the first one. That was Bitcoin 69 / Decentral. So that's the first address. The second address is the one you're talking about. That's above the actually it was above
the
pizza Iorio.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll stop it there. We won't give away the other 2. So
yeah, that's a tough question, guy. That's a tough one. So, but there's a big
64 Spadina or 69, and the
no,
one
69. It wasn't 69.
Oh, 64.
Nice.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Do you want to do the questions? I'm ready, and I'm good for as long as you want to go, Leo. I'm good. So if it does run in.
Okay, guys. Yep. We have Anthony now, so just ask.
It's so fun. I feel like I've been out of this for years. This type of thing. It's so much fun because it's something we did every week, guys. Yeah. We did this every week. At least
yes.
It was great. So I'm really enjoying this.
I mean, so people know the energy that this man brought into the space. C4, the founders from C4 had a space at the first Decentral.
Michael Perklin.
So Market Perklin, yes.
Yeah.
So, and you had people that were actually doing stuff that were working out of the Decentral, the first office space. You would go there any time of day, and there was always somebody there, out of town, not out of town. It was always busy. And this is a non-meetup day. And if it was a meetup day, it was even worse.
It was even better. Let's be positive.
Oh yeah, it was even better. Yes. Okay, so I remember you had a studio in the back. It was Coin Talk. Back in the days at the first location.
I mean, okay. I just saw a question there. The greatest success from a Toronto person, I think it's got to be Vitalik. It's got to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just, I don't know who can compete globally with somebody next to Satoshi that would be given that honor of being able to say that they've done so much and so young as he is. So I would definitely give that to Vitalik.
Okay, we also add Waterloo to that just because of the whole Waterloo thing.
Sorry, what's that, Michael?
Could we add Waterloo to that as well as Toronto?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's Canada. I mean, yeah. Globally. What else? who could dispute, I think, that Vitalik in the space, maybe compared it to Satoshi, has been able to be a figurehead that has garnered the much attention from the general public, the developer community, the community in general than Vitalik. I don't know if there's somebody, and he's decades younger than I am.
So that question being said, so what do you see to help Canada become or grow as a hub for blockchain and crypto? What do we need to do as a community that you think will enable that?
So I'm going to take you one step further and say what we can do as a country, regardless of blockchain. How about that?
Fair enough.
My next mission is to change the incentive structures of the world from maximizing shareholder returns to maximizing positive impact. That's my goal. The harm, I believe, that business models are consistently trying to maximize shareholder returns month after month is leading to a degradation of people and planet. I think that there's always dials that you have to turn. And when you're consistently focused on maximizing shareholder return and appeasing investors, there's going to be other dials you got to turn down. And we've seen how that can harm the planet. We've seen how it can harm people. And I believe there's a better way. And I believe there's a better way for brands and projects to identify that the better they do to help more people and help more stakeholders, the better they will do to maximize their shareholder returns. So my goal is to actually identify what it means to be Canadian. It's like, let's figure out how we can take all of the cultural diversity we have in Canada, the great skills, the assets, the humbleness, we're here to share with what we've learned to the rest of the world, and identify and define what it means to be Canadian. That's kind of my mission right now. I'm doing it with Project Arrow, which is a car project that's building the first Canadian zero emission vehicle that I'm involved in. It's being done by my friend who's the head of the Auto Parts Manufacturing Association of Canada. And it's bringing together all the different parts manufacturers from Canada to build a zero emission car that we can stamp and say this is Canadian. And it's a throwback to the Avro Arrow, which was a project back in the 1950s to build a fighter jet that was twice as fast and flew twice as high than any other jet in the world. And unfortunately, it didn't have the greatest exit because there was a contract that was shut down that ended up terminating the project. And this has an important connection to me because my grandfather worked on that project, and he lost his job on the day of my mother's birthday back in the day. So it's something that's really close to me. So how we can showcase Canada as a leader in the world in innovation and in technology, not just in blockchain and crypto, but in every sector, is what my goal is with my problem solving models. And I've got a white paper coming out soon on problem solving. It's called Perfect Formula. And it's going to be my addition to the world of how I solve problems. And it's something that I'm hoping each of you are going to take a look at and give me some feedback on, because I think I've come up with some ways to create win-win-win-win-wins for all stakeholders in the mix, and come up with situations that can go sector to sector using my models to actually create improvements. And I want Canada to be the testing ground. So defining what it means to be Canadian, defining what it means to showcase Canadian innovation is something that's really important to me that I want to bring forward. And it's not about just blockchain. I think we've already done a great job in the blockchain space and the cryptocurrency space. Unfortunately, we couldn't, showcase Canada on the Ethereum scale because of some regulatory issues and problems that made it important for us to set up in Switzerland at the time. But can you imagine if we could have done that in Canada? It is what it is, and everything's great. But why can't we do this in the future with amazing projects that come out from Canadians and make it an environment that we can flourish and thrive here? And that's really something that I want to put my attention towards. So I'm leaving the blockchain space in the future, but it'll always be a tool in my tool belt that I use and can utilize. But there's so much more out there. And I want to showcase leadership. I want to showcase unity and bringing people together, showcase problem solving, showcase that it's not about us versus them. It's about bringing people together. And that's kind of my mission in life is to now be of service to showcase how we can do that for Canada. And then how can we take that and actually give it to the world and say that we want the world to also be like that is kind of what I want to focus on. So there's going to be a lot more coming from me, and it's stepping stones to next things. And that's what I'm doing right now. In fact, I'm building out my space I have at the St. Regis in Toronto. It's going to be the headquarters of the Justice League of Problem Solving. That's what I'm building out, as a place to bring together the superheroes of problem solving to solve larger world problems. And you guys will see that. I'm gonna be holding events there. We're gonna start getting the meetups going again. You guys can do your events there once I do this. And it's gonna be a really unique space of bringing together people and solving problems. And I'm now, a lot of my time is actually going towards the build out, and I've got the architects working, and I've got all the different trades all getting ready to create a space that we can actually say this is headquarters to solve problems. And it's going to be right in the financial district in Toronto and doing this. And it's a space I bought in 2018 with that goal in mind. But the environment wasn't the best over the last couple of years, and now things are kind of picking up, and there's a lot more excitement. And I'm going to start putting that forward and bringing it forward. And we'll host some Bitcoin Bay events there in the future. It'll be on the top of the city, and we'll continue on what you guys are doing here, which is building community, taking the reins from me. I think is what I always think you guys have done, and it's been good.
Yeah. Question somebody asked was, will Jaxx support staking?
So having the infrastructure to support staking is something that we want to start working on with the different chains that we do bring forward. Right now, all our chains are proof of work chains, but I think the enterprise services we want to start offering for the community has to start thinking about proof of stake as well. And I'm not someone that's like a proof of work maximalism. I think proof of work is great, but if you could think of ways that also create formulas where you're not wasting energy and you can still have the same type of securities and things that can do. Now, maybe we're not there yet, but I hope that we will get there, because if you are still creating situations where it's not everybody's on board and happy with how you're doing it, and I think a lot of people are not happy with proof of work just for the certain things that come from it, and I'm okay with it in terms of where it is, and it can justify certain things, but why not do it better? Why not figure out ways that you could actually bring those stakeholders into the mix as well, that they say, you know what, I'm happy with the technology, I'm happy with the trustworthy system, I'm happy with everything, and we figure out how to not utilize that amount of energy. Why not strive towards that? So I am not adverse to proof of stake mechanisms, as long as they're providing the same type of security and the same type of trust that the proof of work mechanisms do.
All right, another question is that, what are your thoughts of digital identity? Is your organization working on some DID standards?
So identity, as I mentioned before, it's something that I think should be controlled by the user, just like their money and just like their communication. Once you start tying someone's actual personal information to it, you have to make sure that it's done in a way that is private, confidential, and not being put out there. So with our products, we built everything around identity, communication, and money. And if the user can be in full control of those, that's, I believe, is the holy grail for any type of software product, is if you've got decentralized those three things, it's a very powerful platform that you have. I'm a big proponent of Shift. It's a product that I invested in a few years ago that understood that you have to bring together governments and financial institutions and the end users in order to create a system that is not consistently asking users to give their information to these unknown companies or exchanges that you don't know if you can trust. It's a bad system. You got to give them your passport. You got to give them your picture. You're giving them everything that you could possibly need to go and then create havoc on your life if it gets out there. And you're trusting people that are going to take that in order to do it. So any system that's going to provide more decentralization on identity is got to come forward. Any system that's got to be able to allow exchanges to connect in ways that they're not having to pass this actual information, but they can still attest to the accuracy of the information, I think is going to come out and be much more valuable, because a lot of the systems right now are archaic. We, in our systems and what we build with Jaxx, give you the keys where only you can sign something which proves your identity. So only you have the keys. We don't have it. So you lose those keys, you're in trouble. But you only having those keys can prove that if you sign a message, it is you. So we haven't taken that to actually adding on your physical names and addresses, because I just don't want to have that information. But I think we have brought some progress that our systems can actually prove that you actually own the keys, because only you can sign it. There's a lot of identity systems out there that I think are going to be fighting for supremacy out there, or fighting to showcase that they are the ones that those will tackle. But it's always going to come in a way that says, it's going to be good because you're in control. You're not giving it out, and you're not having to release to centralized systems your personalized information. So we are not specifically tying to any particular protocols that enable the tie-in with your physical stuff. But we are releasing Shift very soon in Jaxx, actually. I think it's actually in the release that we have right now that's just gone out. And that might be something people want to look into, not because I'm invested in it. It's something that the team used to work with me. They were all part of my Jaxx team. I saw value in it. I knew the team. And I think what they were providing to the world is a way to bring together financial institutions, governments, and the crypto space all together. And that's why I like that project.
Okay. Quick thing. A while back, well, you were, from a conversation, you were thinking about coming out with a Jaxx hardware wallet. I think it was Cube or something like that. Is that still in the picture, or you've left that alone?
No, I've left Decentral Unity, which was our token that was going to reward people for using our partners in Jaxx and for supporting all the different coins. It was to be a complementary coin for the ecosystem. Mm-hmm. We've had hardware ideas for years, which we've got patents on. We've got coin cards to replace ATM. So many different things. They're all in the running still if someone wants to, when they purchase Jaxx and Decentral, to carry it out. But really my mission is going beyond the crypto space. So I don't have the desire to actually get involved in anything that involves around building out a community around a token. I'm not going to be responsible for someone that's putting a token out. I just don't want the responsibility of saying, buy my thing and compete against others. It's such a, we did it with Ethereum, but you can also imagine what people that are leading projects like Charles Hoskinson at Cardano or Gavin Wood at Polkadot right now, the amount of people that are saying, we're trusting you and we're buying your thing as opposed to someone else's. Mm-hmm. I don't want that responsibility. I'm trying to remove the risk in my life. I'm trying to create a lot more calmness and being in the present and not having to think I owe people something. That putting a coin out or putting out even a hardware device or anything actually with a monetary incentive in the future is not something that I'm really interested in.
Okay. Okay, let's see if there's any more questions out there.
We asked about Jackson staking, right?
Yeah, I already did. Yeah.
I gotta come up with another contest. While you're thinking,
okay,
that, come up with the fourth one.
Okay, so do we want to give the answer to the third one, or do we want people?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't even know it offhand. We'll have to.
We have the two.
We've got
60 Spadina.
So we got 64 Spadina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one is what, 120 something Spadina.
Well, that doesn't work. You can't say 120.
Okay, 140. I'm just saying, whoever.
Let me get him here. Let me get this here.
And I know you had one. The last two was the one on Adelaide, and the other one was the one in the 111 building, which was on Front Street.
Yeah, but that's not the address. The address was actually on Front Street.
Front Street, yeah.
Like
Front Street,
375 or something like that, or 425, something like that.
Yeah.
Did anybody get it right?
Most people they didn't get it right. They missed the one that was on Front Street, the 111 one.
Okay, let me see what it was. I think it was 420. Let me see. 111. The problem with 111 is you search for 111, it's gonna, because it used to be 111, the Google building. That's when they moved. Yes. So it was. Let me see if I can figure it out.
The 111 space was
I think
the
it
one
was
on
425. 425
Mhm.
front.
Yeah.
Let me see. Nope, I don't think that was it. Anyways, we'll figure it out. But you have to record. You've got the 111, which was on Front Street. You had 64 Spadina was the first one. We had, was it
120?
If you're gonna ask the questions, Anthony, you got to know the answer.
No, I don't. Why? Why? You can still prove it afterwards. Why do I have to know it? It makes it trickier if I don't actually know it, but you still got to figure it out. It's called the internet. Research it.
There you go. Proof of work.
Proof of work. Come on. Exactly. Exactly. No, it was not 212 Adelaide. Anyways, here's what we can do, guys. I'll give you my email address, and whoever gets it right in email to me, I'll reward it with that. So, so my email is you can send it to anthony@decentral.ca. Okay, so do your research. It's the four spaces and the addresses that we had. They were pretty much 1 year apart. So you had 64 Spadina, Then you had above the Pizzaiolo on Spadina, which should be pretty easy for you to figure out. It's the
Yeah.
Pizzaiolo is still there right now.
Yep.
Then you had 111, which was called 111 because it used to be the Google building, which was 111 on like Adelaide or Richmond, but they moved to Front Street. So the 111 accelerator space. And then you had the Decentral, which was on Adelaide Street by John and Charles. John?
Yeah, John,
and
Adley, yeah, around there, yeah.
All right, so there's the 4. So, and you got my email. So anybody that comes up with that first, I'll figure it out. Okay.
I had another question
Sure.
from Jordan in our group there. Dangerous one. He was asking about Jaxx integration with Bitcoin SV. He's a bit of an SV fan.
So we've realized that the 95% of our users are interested in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and maybe the top 2 or 3 or 4. Once you start adding more stuff to our audience, they get confused. And that's something that we learned. It took a while to actually learn that, which is why we're not getting to DeFi. We're not getting to NFT. Because we're now going after user acquisition, I want to serve my dad. I want to serve the masses that are interested in just these couple things. And the more you bring into the mix, the more confusion there is. So it's not that I'm adverse to Bitcoin and SV. However, if 99% of your user base it doesn't know about it and is interested in a couple things, we got to give our attention to those things. So instead of being the wallet for everything, which was always my goal, now because we're going to user acquisition, we have to service the 99% of what we think our user base is, and that's Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe the top 10. So to go beyond that and the resources it takes to kind of get that just doesn't make sense to us, as now we're finally getting to user acquisition mode. So we kind of switched over the last couple of years of saying, let's add everything to, let's focus on the ones that we're seeing the masses wanting to actually participate in. And it's not that we're adverse to those ones or don't like them, but we have to put our attention into the ones that actually do. And guys, we're 5 people. I don't know if you guys realize how small our team is. We went from 60 down to 5 because we automated, we built everything over 8 years, so we realized now it's time to get it to the public, that we built such amazing systems that they don't require any maintenance or infrastructure. It just runs. And I'm literally 1.5 developers, myself, my assistant, and 1 or 2 support guys. That's our whole team right now. And I love it. I just love the freedom. I love not having to manage so many people as we used to do. Yet we're much more efficient, we're much more automated, and we're ready to scale and grow. And we do work with outside services now in terms of, we have a data architect that's a specialist, we have a data scientist, we have a growth team out of New York we're working with, but that just got added recently as we start to scale and grow. But the freedom that you can have when you have less people, that and it's been, when we had 60 people at the previous Decentral, it just was a lot of headaches and a lot of hassle and managing, and now we've automated. And we're very small with the footprint we have, you know, with thousands of new users every day in 220 countries and billions of dollars that are being managed. It's really nice to keep the team nice and small, and I really love that.
Okay. Anybody else have questions? I don't see any more questions. I mean, this is the opportunity to ask. Anthony, any question?
We'll do it sometime in the future, man. We'll do it more in the future, guys. Whenever, you know,
Okay.
I'm gonna hope to participate more in your meetups in the future. I love what you guys do, and I kind of the last couple of years have shifted away from the community building to focus on some other things. But it's really nice to see you all here today, and it really brings back some good memories.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, because of you, we have some old timers on here, like Agason showed up.
Who showed up?
Agason.
Oh, Agison's there.
Agisson,
Okay,
yeah.
I don't see him, but I see his thing. Yeah.
So
What? How much time do you have?
we have until 8 o'clock. So
Well, why don't we talk through some of your crew? Alwyn, what's your remembrances back there? Jan, I mean, geez, the photographer that took all the pictures back in the day with everything that was going on. Edward, man, you've been there for a while. There's so many people here, and I can't see everybody on the screen, unfortunately. I only see a few people here, but why don't we hear some of the stories about you know, a few people and their first experiences, maybe from the core team here. And even I don't, is Antoine still here? I don't see him, but him too, man. I mean, yeah, it's nice to see you guys.
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, what's up?
So
I've monopolized it. So guys, share your stories. I mean,
yeah,
you've all dealt with Anthony. You know, what type of individual that he is, how he supports the community. So, time to.
How about an interesting story about one of the old meetups guys, or how you got into it, something like that, just something as a throwback to the old meetup days. Well, you know what? I'll say one thing here. The reason why you felt welcomed, Leo, when you came in, because it was all about what I would try to tell people is when you see someone that's new or you see someone that looks like they might feel out of place, is walk up to them and ask them what's your interest in Bitcoin. Just to get them feeling comfortable, get them feeling like they're part of it, get them feeling like they're in it. And Ralph, how you doing, man?
And actually, Anthony did do that. I mean, you would every meetup, and I'll be frank and honest, is we kind of bootlegged some of his practices when we're doing meetups.
Chris,
at his location.
I see Chris Chris raising her hand. She's here.
Okay.
We'll get her to unmute in a second here. How do I get this to go? Funny story. A long time ago, I was using your ATM and I was selling a whole bunch of ETH.
Yep.
To buy a race bike.
Oh.
And I remember you coming out and just being like, I don't know, could you might not want to sell that right now. And I think I was selling at 50.
Really? I actually gave you advice. I don't do that. Come on. Really?
And I think Chris was doing a build of a Jaxx wallet, and I just said,
Yeah.
Hey, Chris. What's up, beautiful?
Chris, I think you can unmute now.
Hey.
Oh, shoot, I just unmuted you. Do it again.
Hello.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I just want to say hi and what's up. And I just wanted to listen into the Fireside chat. And I just wanted to say too, like, we did have a big impact in Decentral. I remember when I first started working there, I literally met you at a meetup. It was a rocking time. Started working shortly thereafter. But I remember like Sergio's team in Argentina, we must have funded like a big crew there. And I don't think it's too much of a surprise that you saw the Ethereum community bump up at that particular time period either. I think that we had like a much more of a visible crew than most people realized. The back end was really understated.
And how much fun did we have, Chris, back in the day? A lot of the craziness that we did. And
do you remember the DAO?
Yeah,
the DAO. We were about to do some like crazy. That would have been crazy. That would have been crazy. You can imagine like today's like impact, like back then. Damn, that'd been cool.
What a crazy ride that was. I remember talking to Vitalik the day that the DAO was kind of blowing up. I'm like, Vitalik, what's going on? What's happening here? I don't know. We're trying to figure it out. But yeah, the community out in Argentina did a lot of our development work back in the day, and they were responsible for the Latin America Bitcoin Conference and a really good community out there. And we've relied on other developer teams through the years to do things. And there's been so many people that are coming in out of Decentral, and Chris is one of the few, or one of the many that are involved. Chris is in Shift right now with a bunch of the other guys that used to be part of the crew. But yeah, it's been a place that we welcome people in. We welcome when they leave. We welcome them back, and it's just about, there's time for everything, and it's been a really interesting run.
Okay, let's see if there's any more. I have a math issue. I'm trying to learn about blockchain. So somebody says I have a math issue. I'm trying to learn.
Ralph's raising his hand.
Okay. Did they raise their hand? Are you letting them in to talk?
Just asked him to unmute.
Okay.
Okay, I unmuted. It worked.
There we go. Ralph, what's up, buddy?
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Anthony. It's nice to see you again.
You too.
Hey, look, I had an interesting little anecdote with Antoine de Voost, fellow Dutchman, way back in 2016, and that little bar on Bloor Street. He helped me put my first Jaxx right at the beginning. So he helped me get the Jaxx on my cell phone, and he actually put an Ethereum on it for me. And thank you, Antoine. But I spent that Ethereum. You know how much it was worth when he put it on my phone in 2016?
How much?
$11.
Nice.
Now it's 2,200. It was $11.
Nice. Okay, Antoine, you got to fill him back up again.
Jan wants to share a screen, so can you allow him to?
Yeah.
Because I guess he wants to share a picture.
Who, Yan does?
Yeah.
Okay, Yan, I just
Oh, you can hear me
unmuted you, and let's see if we can get you to. Can you do a screen share right now?
Yeah.
Good to see you.
No,
Man. Good to
not
see
yet.
you.
Hold on a sec. Yeah, I can't share my screen yet. Disabled.
Hold on, let me just see if I. Okay,
We kind of have it
go
locked
ahead.
in now.
Go ahead. Try. See if you
Okay.
can do it.
I can do it now. Hold on a sec.
Okay.
There we go. Hold on a sec. Can you guys see this?
I remember that one. That was at bars.
I don't see it. I don't see it yet. Wait. I'm up there.
I got to look at my screen, I guess.
No, I see it. I mean,
I'm missing it. I can't see it for some
you
reason.
have.
No, I see faces here, but I don't see it. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Peter Todd. Oh, we got Andreas there. Nice.
Yeah, and I think that was one of your conferences.
Yeah.
No,
Well, I got some highlights here. Hold on, let's see if I
We
can.
went to a Chinese restaurant in Chinatown.
after yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh.
Go back to the album.
Yeah, and I'd love to see your photos, man. Oh, there's Flip. We got Flip Filipowski there in the middle there. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Michael Perkins there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if I just love to see these sometime, man. I don't know where.
Yeah, we should get together sometime, actually.
I'd love to. I'd love to see
Yeah.
this stuff. That's
I'm in
so nice.
Toronto, so yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Hey, Yan, we'll do an art gallery at my new place sometime. Okay,
I'm starting to do some NFT stuff, and there's some artists. So maybe we should get together and talk
I'll
about
have
that.
100 digital screens to be showcasing all this stuff in the place. So let's do that.
Yeah. Brought up the question about digital identity. So just a quick question.
Yeah.
I don't, like, I totally agree with you about people not wanting to, if they don't want to reveal exactly who they are and they want to, be anonymous so that, people don't chase them after their money and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like artists, how do you attach an artist to their NFT and ensure that it's the actual artist? You know what I mean?
I think you've got to figure out a way that you can trace it back to their keys, right? And they have to prove that they have ownership of the keys that it's originally been created by. Right, so you have to have a system where the chain of custody traces back to the artist's keys, and they're the ones that actually released it.
Yeah, I'm kind of working on that right now.
It's not, but it's not just an artist. It's actually any manufacturer of a good that can also embed something like an NFT, like an auto part company can release an NFC or NFT chip part that actually could go back to the manufacturer. So you can actually, by tapping it, trace it all the way back to when it was actually created. And only the creator has the keys for it. So I think there's definitely ways to do it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Jan, you've got a gold mine here.
Yeah.
You got Paul there. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You got Turpin. Oh my God, you got Joseph Lubin. You've got Amir.
Remember that one? That was fun.
Yeah, that was a Rebel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah, and I'd love to see, you could be the first art exhibit. Okay, you got Amir Takri there.
Yeah, whatever happened to him? I haven't heard too much about him.
He went to start fighting against ISIS.
That's right.
Getting arrested. He ended up getting charged by England for fighting against ISIS. And he ended up, but I don't know where he is right now. But yeah, he went on a big mission. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and look at how young Charles looks.
Oh God. You know what I found out? He was only like 24 years old when we started. I was floored. I thought he was older than me.
Yeah, I thought he was older too. I had no idea.
What, 30 now? 30, 31?
33, I think. I thought he was a lot older. He seemed like he was like a professor or something like that.
You got Matt Rozak, you got Sonny on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Oh my God, lots of Peter Todd, lots of Vitalik. Yeah. And we need to, I don't want the stuff, but I'd love to just see this stuff of what
I'd like to.
I never took pictures. Jan. I didn't take them. You kind of took them all, right?
Yeah.
I don't. There we got Joseph Weinberg over there.
Yeah, what happened to him? He sold
Joseph Weinberg.
Oh yeah, I got him too.
Joe's with Shift, right? So he's with Chris Forrester and he's with him over there. So no,
this is a good picture.
Yeah.
That was in Ottawa, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Is this stuff on Flickr? Is this stuff around, or is it all?
Some of it is.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna definitely hit you up.
Yeah.
There's Michael. Wow.
Oh yeah, and there's oh yeah. Hold on a second here.
Oh, there's me. Oh my God, you gotta send me that one.
Remember that one?
Oh my goodness. I oh my God. I love him, and we
You
just
still have the same
we're-
hat on,
We're
Anthony.
just so that's the same uniform. Somebody got a collar on that one.
Yeah.
But Tone and I are completely opposites, but we have a lot of respect for each other.
Yeah,
That's
a lot of people
important.
respect him.
I respect him. I
everyone
don't
does.
agree with his maximalism, but I
Yeah.
love the guy, and we just have a lot of fun together. And that's a good thing. We don't not like each other, which is cool. You can tell by the look on his face. Look at that.
He's not a Bitcoin maximalist anymore. He's a shitcoin minimalist.
Now, let's be positive. You got Russell Verbeetem in there, right behind me on
Yes.
the left there. Russell's the one
Oh, yeah.
at the hackathon.
Yep.
He basically ran the hackathon for the Bitcoin Expo when Dark
Mhm.
Wallet was the winner through that one there. So he did a lot of work on that. Yeah.
He's still in Toronto, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
Oh, as far as I know, he's with Consensus. But I'm
I
not
think-
sure. It's been a while.
I
But
think he's the regional manager still as the regional candidate manager for Consensus. Last
Yeah.
I checked.
those are my same guys. My $4 hats from Chinatown.
Yeah, I think I still have one of the shirts, one of your Ethereum shirts.
Hey, you got Stefan 12 on the bottom left, and you got Mihai Alize. So
Yeah.
Stefan 12 from Slockit in the DAO right there on the bottom left.
Right there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's Mihai Alize. He's one of the other co-founders of Ethereum.
that was in Waterloo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that was
Mihai
pretty-
was in Waterloo. Really?
Yeah, he was in
That was
Waterloo.
the-
He couldn't leave Romania. That's why he couldn't
Really?
participate in a lot of the stuff because he couldn't leave Romania at the time.
Oh, yeah. No, I took
Hey, there's
picture I
Vitalik's
took-
dad.
That was in
Go back. Not there. Not there.
okay, sorry, which one?
If you go back, Vitalik's
Yeah.
dad is right beside that picture on the right.
Right there.
Right on the right of Vitalik. The second one.
Keep going.
Middle.
Yep.
Middle. Oh, to the right.
Go-
Right
yep, there.
Right there. That's Vitalik's
Okay.
dad.
No.
No, left.
Right
Well,
there.
that's his dad too on the right.
Right.
Oh,
On
his
the right
father.
there.
Yeah. That's his
Well,
father.
dad, yes. Father, dad.
Yeah, that's Vitalik's father. Yeah, I was
Vital
talking.
4.
When I first met him, it was at the conference, I think in 2013. And I had no idea it was his father until he
Yeah, you look at him,
introduced
you're
himself.
Vitalik's dad? What happened? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's a big hulky guy, and then you got this skinny guy as his son. No idea.
No, he's an extremely smart, intelligent person.
Yeah, really smart guy.
Very much libertarianism and freedom oriented, and gave Vitalik the ability to be free in what he did and go out there and do the things he did.
Yeah, he was. I think he was the one that told me he introduced Vitalik to Ethereum, or
Yeah.
not. Sorry, not Ethereum. He introduced him to blockchain.
He did, definitely.
Bitcoin.
And there's Tracy Laperoulo up on the top right there.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
conference and the conference guru there on the left there, and Russell.
Yeah. Actually, I got a good picture of her with here. Hold on a sec. With us, I think. Where is it? Hold on a second.
Well, yeah, and you've got the first art gallery.
Oh,
over there.
here. Yeah, this one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, you can do the first art gallery, okay, Ann? We're gonna do an event with Bitcoin Bay at my place, and we'll put everything up on the screens, and we'll have a blast.
Do you have like a space for a gallery right now, or?
Oh, I'm building it out right now, guys. You're gonna hear about it. It's got it's over the next year or so. It's a place that I bought a couple of years ago at the top of the St. Regis. It's going to be a commercial residential space, and it's going to be a place to bring problem solvers together and events and things. So you'll hear more about it soon.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. So we're coming up to 8 o'clock.
Oh, one last thing there. Go back.
Yeah, sure.
We got Travis Corey there on the right hand side, right on the top right. He was he's passed away since of brain cancer a few years ago. And he was involved with Decentral in the early stages of things. So he was helped with things got off the ground. And if you go back, you've also got go back to the main thing. Yeah, we had also, what is the other one that I saw that I wanted to say? No, I think we're good there, but yeah, go ahead, whoever was going there.
Okay. So if we don't have any more questions, again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. It's almost 8 o'clock. I don't want to monopolize it, even though he's given us 2 hours of his time, actually 2 hours, 15 minutes of his time. It's late and I want him to go and enjoy the rest of his night.
I'm good.
You're good to go still?
If anybody wants to keep going, I'm good, man. I miss this. I miss this.
Well,
you got William where you are. You got Paul there. You've got You've got, oh my goodness. I just want to see these pictures because I haven't seen these in
I
years.
remember that.
Guys,
that was at 111.
Guys,
Yep.
you got Gerald from Quadriga there
Yes.
Yeah.
on the far
Actually,
right.
there was a documentary.
Right there.
Gerald and
Gerald,
Jamie Robinson, Quick PT.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. There's Gerald.
Yeah.
And I still believe he's dead, guys. So anybody, I still believe he had a serious gluten issue, and he was always had issues with his digestive system. So Max,
Yeah.
a man that I love, but I don't like his divisiveness and his but I love him still.
This is a good picture. I like
That's
this
a
one.
great picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got here. That's a great picture.
That was actually before the event. I can't remember which restaurant it was at, but there
The
were
Chinese restaurant.
No, it was somewhere else. I can't remember now.
Okay.
It was just before that C4 conference.
Mm.
But there were a lot of like Pamela.
Yeah.
She was there. Actually, here that's another picture from it. That's where.
Yeah, that's my sister, guys, on the far left.
Oh, really?
She's
Yeah.
an editor.
Yeah.
She's an editor for Coinbase right now. Sorry, CoinDesk. She's been there for a number of years.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
my sister Christy on the far left.
Wow, nice.
And you got Lisa on the second left there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, well, definitely.
Yan, I've got to give it to you, Yan, for putting this all together, man, and having these. There's no one that's gonna have a bigger collection of all these photos that you've had of the whole history of the crypto scene in Toronto.
This is where Anthony Andreas Antonopoulos was releasing his Mastering Bitcoin book.
Yeah.
He did that at the C4 conference.
Yes. Yeah. What a storyteller.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, people, it's 8 o'clock. People are starting to tail off.
Okay.
So Anthony, again, on behalf of
you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really
Thanks a lot,
had
Anthony.
a great time tonight,
Yeah.
guys. So thank you for inviting me, and I'd love to do it again sometime.
we will do it again, and we'll hold you to that. And
Sure.
and we'll do it bigger and better. And we'll probably do it hopefully after COVID and we are all out of lockdown. We can stream it online with the rest of the world to see.
Okay. And you guys got my email address now. Now let's get those last answers in there. And who's going to help me though with the previous contests? Do you guys have that noted at all?
Yeah, I think Michael Free and Gaurav will do that. We have a copy of the chat, so we'll just go through the chat and pick the first correct answers on those, and then we'll email it to you. We'll connect them and we'll email it to you.
And the last one has to come through my email with the right answers.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, Anthony, again, thank you very much for being a mentor to us and helping us grow the space along with you. And again, we look forward to doing it again. And thank you for sharing your time with us. And everybody, thank you for showing up. We actually were up about 70 to 80 people for most of the conversation, which is beautiful. So
My
I
pleasure, guys. And thanks for continuing this on all the team at Bitcoin Bay. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks, guys.
On
Bye-bye.
Subscribe on YouTube. Bye.
Bye.